Have you ever thought that neurodivergent people were strange? Even finding their behavioral and communication patterns bizarre? Well, it turns out that neurodivergent people have a lot more potential than you think. One such neurodivergent person who has proven such potential is Grandin, an autistic animal behaviorist. During her career, Grandin has identified the different ways in which the neurodivergent think, along with their gifted talents, and her work has had a tremendous impact on education. First, let's get a little background on Temple Grandin in case you don't know her. She is an animal behaviorist who was diagnosed with high functioning autism at a young age. During her career, she has made major improvements in how animals are tamed in farming before being prepared for food. She recognized how animals feel in certain contraptions and thought in pictures to find ways to properly have those contraptions modified based on her own experiences with autistic autistic accommodations and support. Well, I think I've given you enough background on Temple Grandin. Let's dig into her efforts. First off, Grandin has identified the different ways in which the neurodivergent people can think. First off, she identifies herself as a photorealistic visual thinker, which is basically her thinking in pictures, as in realistic pictures like photographs, even comparing her brain to a hard drive to store files, her memories. However, Grandin has also recognized that there are other kinds of ways in which neurodivergent people can think, such as visual spatial thinking, which is kind of my thinking style, where people think in more abstract pictures, one at a time. And then there is verbal thinking, where people who are more literary in a sense think more in words and stanzas, and even sometimes say their thoughts out loud. But there are a lot more thinking styles, which you can look into. Well, now that I've shared with you how Temple Grandin has identified different thinking styles, let's get into the different gifted talents the neurodivergent can have. Thing is, Temple Grandin recognized that neurodivergent people have different gifted talents to be well supported. Specifically, she says that neurodivergent people are talented in specific fields that often coordinate with their thinking styles, such as artists who are more visual or photorealistic visual spatial thinkers, and writers who think more in a verbal thinking. However, as Grandin once put it, you see, what tends to happen to people on the spectrum is that their skills are very uneven. They are good at one thing and terrible at something else. And what tends to happen is we pound away at the disability and we don't even know what the ability is. Now, what she means by this is that neurodivergent people, like other people, are very good in one certain field, but are not very good in another. And still, they should be well accommodated for and supported in both sides so that they can still succeed, even if it's not perfect. Well, now that I've shared with you the different thinking styles and then the gifted talents among neurodivergent people, let's talk about how Grandin has made a major impact on education through her work. You see, Grandin's work with neurodiversity has had a major impact on how neurodivergent children are taught to communicate. One example of this is the usage of Julia Finley Mosca's book, The Girlathon Pictures, The Story of Temple Grandin, which is used in an educational technique they call the Grandin scheme. In case you don't know what that is, it's a Grandin scheme. It's an educational method where neurodivergent children, or special needs children in general, are taught through special activities and readings how to properly communicate, learn special empathy, and especially to identify and solve problems through their thinking styles and their gifted talents, which is very beneficial. Well, today I've given you a special tribute on Temple Grandin and her work. First, I've shared with you the different types of thinking styles that Grandin has identified in neurodivergent children. Then I tackled the different gifted talents the neurodivergent can have, often based on their thinking styles. And finally, I've shared with you how much of an impact that Grandin's work has had on neurodivergent children's education, especially through literature. So today, from my time with you, I would like you to walk away with this one final consideration. Neurodivergent people are still people who can accomplish so much in life, especially when problem solving through their thinking styles and gifted talents. And I hope that from my story, you can help neurodivergent people in need and accept them as they are. Thank you.